All right, in the studio with me right now, I have the entire Josey family from Colchester. Not just a family from Colchester, but from my own neighborhood, friends of ours from the neighborhood. And Sawyer, Sawyer's in the studio with me right now, and Sawyer finished his first year at Camp TaKumTa as a regular camper. This is the first year. I mean, I remember you were there as like the pre-camper program, and then you got to stay overnight for the first time on your own at camp. What was that like, Sawyer?
It was a little scary.
Was it a little scary?
Mm-hmm.
Was that your first time away from home like that? Away from mom and dad?
No, but it was my first time away for a week.
Okay. And when did you get over the scary part? Did it take you a day or two to sort of feel like you were fitting in?
Half of it.
Half a day. That was about it?
Mm-hmm.
And what was your favorite thing to do at camp?
The ropes course.
The ropes course. Did you go up and do the zip line?
Yes.
Now, are you at the age where you could do the regular zip line, or did you have to do the flying squirrel?
I can do the regular zip line.
That is so cool. See, when you get to be my size, when you jump off the platform, you fall straight down to the ground, and then when you're about a foot off the ground, that's when it takes you away. It's quite it's pretty exciting stuff. Did you do any pranks while you were at camp?
Yes. We put goats in some of the cabins.
Wait. You put goats inside some of the cabins?
Yes.
Where did you find a goat?
Farm nearby.
That wouldn't be Allen Home Farm, would it?
Yeah.
That sounds like something Papa Ray Allen, who makes the apple pie, might be up to, huh? Yeah, that would be something he would do. I could see that happening. Mm-hmm. And whose cabin did you put the goats in?
Most of them.
In most of the cabins? What cabin do you like to prank the most?
Oldest boys.
The oldest boys. Why do you like pranking them the most?
Because they don't expect it.
Coming from the littlest boys, right? All right, so I know you want to say hello to a few people. Your bus driver this morning?
Yes.
And do you know his name?
I'm Greg.
Greg, the bus driver, who drives you to, are you at Union?
Yes.
Union Memorial School in Colchester. And sometimes your mom is nice enough to pick you up at the bottom of the hill, and I wave to her as I'm coming home every day. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Your mom, Toni's in the studio here. Tell me a little bit about your experiences with sending this handsome little man off to camp. First of all, I know he has gone through all his treatments now.
Yes.
And he's through them, and he's doing great, right?
That's right. Yes, we're so grateful. His camp experience started right after he was diagnosed with leukemia. When it was the week he turned 4. Actually, he woke up the morning of his 4th birthday in the hospital and had his first dose of chemo. And and so his camp experience was able to start really early because the organization has those wonderful play groups for future campers, and
which was a new thing when he came along.
And it was wonderful because it got him so excited for camp. And certainly he was a little nervous about the overnight aspect of it. But we've been involved with a lot of the play groups and the celebrations that they have. And so he was really familiar with camp, and we love it. As we said last year, it's a wonderful place. But there was something that happened this year when we dropped him off at the hospital and everybody gathered to get together on the buses. And we've known that camp was a wonderful place, but it was the first time it really hit me that these people love my child, and he was about to have the greatest week of his life. And he did. I think we were one of the last families to leave when we picked him up because he wanted to show us everything. We had to say goodbye to everyone, and it was just a fabulous experience. And he still talks about it. I hear him humming songs from camp that I haven't learned yet. So he knows the good job cheer. He knows the camp song.
Right.
And after camp, they sent a survey to the campers, and we filled out what were your favorite parts. He said the ropes course. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite song? He said our song. I said, what's that? He goes, it's the Camp TaKumTa song. And he had a couple ideas for next year. The theme should be counselors are campers and campers are the counselors. So maybe just
an idea.
Over. I'm sure that happens anyway.
It does, actually. All right, who gave you that idea, Sawyer? Did somebody tell you to pass that one along, or did you come up with that on your own?
I I don't really know.
That
I
sounds
don't
like-
remember.
That sounds like something Dave Caterino might have come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Okay. And then, Toni, you've done Mom's Weekend.
I did. Yeah, I didn't go the first year I was eligible because I thought, no, it's not for me. It's for the other moms. But I'm so glad that I went. I've been for 2 years now, I think, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to get to know these families and to get their encouragement. It's a lot of people who have had the same diagnosis as our son and have been through their treatment and can give me a glimpse of what happens on the other side of treatment. And that's been invaluable. And also just to come together and be able to support one another when these other families are going through tougher times, relapses. It's so important to have a community that understands a portion of what you're going through, even if you do have a very rare form, even if your challenges are completely different. There is something about the experience that we all share that makes us a wonderful network of people. And it's been great with my husband, Alan, going to the dad's weekends.
Yep,
Every time we go to these celebrations like this weekend's holiday party, I see him talking to more families because he knows more about their stories and he knows them personally. And it's it's such a wonderful, every time we step onto camp, it feels so good to be back. And when we drove in this weekend, Jacey, our daughter, saw that we were turning into the driveway and said, we're back. This is my favorite place.
Where'd Alan go? There he is. He's over there. He's hiding on me. Alan, a friend, a neighbor, somebody who has learned about TaKumTa in almost the wrong way, the way you don't want to learn about Camp TaKumTa. It's one thing to learn about it on the radio and hear all these stories. It's another thing to live the story. Tell us a little bit about that moment when you first found out that Sawyer was going to be a future camper here.
Well, actually, I did know about camp through people at work who were fundraising, and Mary and Joe are out there, and that was my first sort of introduction, is going, oh, well, that sounds pretty amazing. Give some money, and then you just have no reason to think that it's going to knock on your door, and so it's been a pretty amazing place to tap into. And the part that's kind of interesting about the whole process is all of a sudden it's like walking into a room and then you look around and then there's more people that you go, oh, this person's also dealing with it, or this person's kid has cancer. And so in some ways it's really scary and you're like, how do you get through it? And then other times I felt really overwhelmed with all the connections that are there that aren't so obvious until you're put in that position. And then the support, I work at UVM, and there's quite a number of people that there have connections and that have been a really big support. And we physically live, basically right down the road. So our access to camp and access to all the things that they provide for families has been really something I almost feel like we don't deserve, because I feel like other people have to go a lot further out of their way to take advantage of what we've been able to take advantage of. So I'm extremely appreciative of that, and it's helped both our kids really have a connection there. So it's been amazing for us.
So the interesting thing to me watching all of this is that there were a lot of dreams that we had long term when I was on the board for so many years, developing programs that only really recently has camp been able to have. And one is the Mom's Weekend, one is the Dad's Weekend, and one is the Siblings Camp.
Yeah.
And the other one is the pre-camper program.
Yeah.
And your family has been able to take advantage of every single one of these programs.
Yeah, we are all in. We've really taken full advantage, and it's been great. So it's, my daughter, I think Sawyer was the last one, actually, because of his age, to get to really go to the overnight program, and so now he's been able to take advantage. It's great. I don't think people really understand how much is being done, and the fundraising isn't just for the kid. I don't know the details of how all the finances work, but there is a lot that happens that's for the the sisters and brothers and parents that is extremely valuable too. So.
It's amazing when you run into somebody and says, well, why are they fundraising again? It's that 1 week. Isn't that a lot of money? It's not 1 week. It's a whole year.
It really is.
It's a support system for the family as much as it is a camp for children, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Tell me a little bit about what happens at a Dad's Weekend.
You eat too much. I did better. I've gone twice. I've been to both of the dad's weekends, and I learned from the first one to control myself because Hinch was crazy with the food, and we had a ton of fun. We did some really nice projects around the camp. They did some just relaxing times. The second year, there was, I think, quite a bit of feedback that people wanted more time with dads to talk and connect. And so we had, I think, a little more substance in that regard to understanding what some similarities and other stories that are totally different. And the number of dads was larger this time, so it's nice to have a little bit more of a group. And we had a blast. It was really nice.
Women, the moms, they seem to come ready to talk to each other when they get to camp. Guys are a little bit more, the first time they show up, they're not maybe so ready to talk about their feelings and experiences, but it seems like it's moving in a direction of, this was really good for us.
Yeah, we had an outside expert from a retired professor from St. Mike's came in, and he led us in a really nice conversation, and there was spontaneous conversations more so, I think, as people get used to, this is what it's going to be, and this is how I can tap in, and so I got to know some dads in ways that were new to me, and it was really nice, and we did some good projects and painted and built benches and
fantastic.
Try to earn our keep a little bit.
Also in the studio with us this morning is Jacey, Josey, who's hiding behind all these papers. There you are. Hey, you got to do the siblings camp at Camp TaKumTa. So Sawyer is your brother, and you're the big sister, and you got to go off to siblings camp. Tell me a little bit about what that's like for you.
It's really fun. There's a lot of great people there. The counselors are really nice too. But a couple years ago, we did slime, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't know if it was the first year or second year, but it was really fun.
And you ready to go back again?
Yeah.
You made some friends there? Yeah. Well, the camp is there for the whole family experience. You're hearing it in this family here this morning. The Joseys from Colchester, who they find out that their little son Sawyer has that piece of news that no parent ever wants to hear, and it's about cancer. And you can hear how, just in the voices here, how camp has become an important part of the healing process to the whole family. And the reason camp is there and doing this work is because of your donations in past years, and we're asking you to do it again for families like this all across Vermont and New York. 863-1051, or toll free from Vermont and New York, 1-800-501-9565. It's cool to send a kid to Camp TaKumTa for Christmas. Let's make it happen for folks just